Hello and welcome to the I'll Try That podcast. I'm joined with Mr. Joe Druitt.
Hello there.
And Matthew Barber.
Hey, hey, hey.
And not Simo because he left us for Australia.
And Drabbers is over it, as you can tell.
I'm not bitter at all.
He's fine about it.
He's missing his mate, which is fair. But again, we've already teased that Simo's coming back, and this way he is coming back.
Yeah,
he is coming back for some episodes, for sure.
He's not allowed back.
Oh, we need to do like an episode countdown, but we'll probably get it wrong and end up saying it 4 left, and then it's Simo's here.
No, but we are visiting Kent and Whitstable Bay this week to try their pale ale, Whitstable Bay. But first, we've got the hot topic, and I've forgotten who we're going to for that one.
I'll do it.
Barber's got it.
Yeah, okay. What is it again? Let's make it all sound improvised. Right. So, bear with me. What do we like to talk about? Yeah, that's right. Beer. Yeah. This does sound like I'm making
coffee?
it up now. Right, beer. We've done coffee.
No, that was the last episode. It was all about coffee.
We've moved on. Again, another podcast for another day. In the realm of beer, then, chaps, I want you to. Well, what's missing, and what have you heard of before, and what do you think is maybe a gap in the market in terms of beer and health trends? I mean, not two phrases you normally chuck together that readily.
Well, we've got a plethora of low-calorie beers at the moment. There's a lot of low-calorie beers. There's a lot of low-alcoholic beers as well. What was that one?
The skinny beer.
Skinny beers, yeah.
I'm sure there was one brewery who said they had a sports drink that was just beer.
Erdinger? Was it Erdinger?
Yeah, Erdinger's non-alcoholic was positioning itselul as a sports drink.
Quick, Erdingers.
So one guy's just finishes the 100 meters at the Olympics, or even better, like the marathon or something like that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's lying on the track, panting, covered in sweat, and his little team and physio stuff. Quick, get him an Erdinger.
Get him the Erdinger alcohol fry.
Yeah.
Or what's that?
It's got to be chilled.
Is it in American football where they pour the Powerade over
Gatorade.
the Gatorade over the coach's head?
Gatorade.
But instead it's just a thing of Erdinger.
Yeah. Love it.
They just need a sports bottle, don't they? With the kind of plastic nipply thing. Yeah, you know what I mean. Let's move on from that. There's just one that I think actually Drabs you put us onto this week. And actually, let's open up and think about it. There is, seemingly just as an online presence, sugar-free beer available now. So I'm going to need some explaining on it in terms of how it works, because I always thought there's got to be a bit of sugar in it anyway. But there's a Italian brewed beer. They do two sugar-free beer. They do a lager and a session IPA. These are brewed in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Not World Heritage Site, but Natural Area of Beauty in Treviso in Italy. So northern Italy. I believe that's up in the eastern corner. And they do Salute, which is the lager, 4.8%, and a session IPA that's 4.6%. And the idea is to be sugar and carb free, premium beers. Is there some space for this in the world?
Well, I can get behind a sugar-free beer as a diabetic gentleman who enjoys beer, but my experience
aimed at you,
sugar,
this, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was more weird that the only reason I heard of it was because I'm assuming my phone heard me talking that I'm diabetic, and then an ad appeared, and now I'm continuously getting ads for diabetic or sugar-free beer. But in the world of sugar-free products tend to be pretty naff.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. So, I mean, there was what was the Coke came out with a green can, stevia. So stevia was tipped to be the sugar killer. It was sweet. But it was no sugar involved with it. Stevia, and that's kind of gone away. People aren't really that interested anymore.
Most of those
kind of just pulling this back to beer. So obviously, sugar as a thing is part of the brewing process. It's a creation of the yeast that comes out, and that's where the sugar comes from. But no sugar is actually added at all in any brewing process, unless it's non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
So you're looking at normal beer. So a Budweiser, for example, has 10.6 grams of carbs in it, which is a combination of a few things, but it's got 0 grams of sugar in it. Okay. Miller High Life. You might know Miller High Life, 12.2 grams of carbs, no grams of sugar. And then another one here that you might know, a light beer, just a generic light beer, would have 5.9 grams of carbs and 0.3 grams of sugar as part of the brewing process. A non-alcoholic beer, I was looking at this, on average will have a 28.5 grams of carbs and 28.5 grams of sugar in it.
Crikey, okay. Because on those numbers before, I was going to say, well, sugar-free beer isn't that much of a revelation then if there's not that much sugar in it. But actually, there is in other beers, just those examples you gave before.
So exactly. So basically what they're saying is like it's a sugar-free beer, but really they're talking about non-alcoholic beer. Because the brewing process of creating beer will leave carbohydrates as part of the brewing process. Obviously, you're going to drink something that's going to have carbs in it, but it doesn't have any sugar in it. In the fact that you're adding added extra grams of sugar into this.
Right, okay. Because I mean, the other thing is I was thinking actually from doing stuff on wine in the past. A sweeter wine just typically was less alcoholic because the alcohol is created by breaking down those sugars.
Yeah.
So, a one that was less sweet, it just means it's been almost fermented longer and actually they've created more alcohol. It's typically stronger. But,
that's absolutely...
Yeah, it's absolutely mate. Sorry.
Is this the Jesse Lingard situation?
No. Dad's just had a taste of the guilo. It's absolute is the feedback. Sorry, that's an episode ago. So anyway, that's how I understand. That was what I understood the relationship between sugar and alcohol being. So I kind of never thought there wouldn't be any sugar, but you would have thought it would be that it had been broken down into the alcohol, basically.
Well, you're absolutely spot on because it's basically the main type of sugar in beer is maltose, which you can guess. There's two types of glucose molecules. So it's classed as a simple sugar, right? But maltose and other simple sugars comprise only about 80% of the wort's fermentable sugar content. Okay. There you go. We talked about the wort before. Yeah. In contrast, the remaining 20% consists of Okay, I'm going to have a go at this. Oligosaccharides.
Yeah.
Which the yeast doesn't ferment. So basically, it's a key part of beer is what we're basically saying is these carbohydrates, which is made of simple sugars, which is simple sugar is a part of.
So the sugar-free beers that has no sugar and it's saying it has no carbs, it's just taken the key parts out of the beer.
That's a good question. Is this sugar-free beer saying that it has no carbs?
Yeah. So it says on their website, sugar-free and carb-free, but probably tastes better or just as good as your everyday beer is what they're claiming.
Interesting.
Maybe this is their whole business plan to get you to try it, just to buy this quite expensive first crate of beer, and then you go, I'm not so keen on that, and you never do it again.
Well, that's it. It's £24 for 12 beers, which is
maybe we'll have a whip round. And we'll get a crate between us.
Tell you what, we will message them, and we'll see if we can get some for free. That's the.
Yeah.
We've been quite successful in getting that done, if I'm quite honest. So I'm sure we can get that happening. But I'm more unsure about this whole, are they a real company or not just a website to get traffic coming to? Because I've never seen them in any shops. I've never heard of them in many like news articles or anything.
Orderable online apparently, but also got a very whizzy website. There's actually got a lion that roars at you when you first land on it. Which
is just what those people who want sugar-free beer want.
Yeah, that's it. To To be honest, yeah. Also, with Trappers was just mentioned about the price and that sort of thing. Maybe it's just send us your credit card details. But I don't know. Maybe worth a try. The page is absolutely flooded with happy customer reviews. So if you believe those people exist, then maybe worth a try.
So this week we are travelling to Kent, as Rich said in the starting intro. And we're travelling to the beautiful area that is Whitstable Bay. Have any of you gentlemen visited Whitstable Bay before?
I think when I was knee high to a grasshopper.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think when I was younger, yeah, but I don't remember.
Well, it's known as a very picturesque, sought after location along the coast. You can see this already from the Whitstable Bay Pale Ale logo. They've got some ships, like some old school schooner almost, if I could call it a schooner, with a 3-sail kind of situation going on. Rich, maybe your seafaring prowess could identify that boat better than I could. It's a Drascombe, hey?
Yeah, Drascombe longboat.
Mate, he's not only the beer expert, he's also the boat expert. Is it just everything beginning with B?
Can't wait for him to get going on bottoms.
I really wasn't sure where you were going to go with B then. I thought it was going to be bacon, but...
yeah, that probably would have been better, yeah.
Sorry, what was it called again? The Boscombe? Or have I just put B on?
I believe it's a maybe a Drascombe long. It's a longboat of some. Maybe not a Drascombe. It's a longboat of some sort. It's got a. I can't.
Don't worry about it.
Explain for the listeners, because you might know that. What are the different sails that we're seeing here?
It's got a main, a jib, and maybe a mizzen. If I can.
You're making up words now. A mizzen. That's not a word.
The mizzen. Maybe a mizzen. I can't quite tell, but the mizzen is a sail at the back.
Okay. A back sail is called a mizzen.
Anyway, so Whitstable Bay, there's a distinct sailing vibe here. It's a lovely coastal town, isn't it? Bay's lovely giveaway there.
Very highly sought after for location, for holiday spots and holiday trips, as you can both attest to, having been there in your youth.
And did I understand this as being a beer out of the Faversham Steam Brewery? Have I got that right?
That they have that on their neck, which, if I'm quite honest, I hadn't heard too much about it. However, what I do know is another name you all may know about a little bit more. They are part of the Shepherd Neame brewing group. Let's put them that way.
Like Legends of Kent.
Legends of Kent, the oldest brewery in the UK. Let's put it that way. They are the oldest brewery in the UK. They've been brewing for over 300 years. Now, avid listeners to the podcast may have heard of us mentioning about Shepherd Neame before. Anyone want to hazard a guess as to what beer we've talked about, which was a Shepherd Neame previously?
I'm not going to answer because I know the answer, but I do just want to give my little we need a little soundbite also for the oldest brewery in the UK. I think so. This is me clapping a little bit to say well done for that, but I won't answer because I think I know the answer.
Spitfire, I think.
Yeah, darling.
You did it.
I did
Perfect.
it. Yeah.
Spot on. So that was Shepherd Neame's answer to the 50th anniversary of the ending of World War II, I think it was.
Was it Battle of Britain?
No, Battle of Britain, thank you, which is why it's called Spitfire. And so that was the one that put Shepherd Neame on our radar. But yeah, Whitstable Bay is one of their kind of core brews. And they have quite a few different types of beers in Whitstable Bay range, don't they?
This is, I guess everyone's got the same as me, the pale ale, which is the very sessionable to me. But mind you, we are coming to this on the back of the Guilo session, but this is 4%. Pale, citrusy, lovely summer beer for the non-lager drinkers. I'm getting a real malty hit.
What other beer? Can you do the other beers? I teed you up for what other beers they have.
And also you want to know about what the other ones are. They've got a ruby ale. I think they do. Is it a blonde lager and a black stout as well?
They've got a blonde and an organic ale.
Oh, an organic ale.
Yeah,
which looks a sort of deeper, almost chestnutty sort of colour, isn't it? I think they'd probably describe it as a golden ale, but an organic. I think I thought I'd seen on a label that it was what I was calling Ruby was actually a red IPA. But I should all check myself on that because I think that actually might be two different beers.
I've just noticed something. Watch the. I'm on the organic one. I think they've got on. There's a nice gentleman, a video of a gentleman taking a beer. Watch how many times he blinks his eyes just before he takes a sip.
What's this?
Oh God, he likes that, doesn't he?
That is an unnatural amount of blinking going on before he takes his sip of his beer.
Don't worry. The camera's on you. Camera's only on you for a second.
I'm just queuing it up. He's almost gone. They've just gone. Yeah. Wait.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Wait for it. Yeah.
So I weirdly had a similar sort of situation yesterday where I was helping a friend out at this event. He needed some people to come out, and I was in charge of handing out popcorn at this event.
Nice.
That I needed handing out with.
That's a solid job.
It's a solid job, and there was a photographer going around taking loads and loads of pictures of the event. It was quite a big documentary with premiere and all this sort of stuff. And my job was to hand the popcorn out. And this photographer's coming around. He goes, right, can you pick the popcorn up and slowly lift it, and then can you put it back down and up again and back down? And he's just taking all of these pictures of me just lifting this one thing of popcorn up and down for about, no word of a lie, about 5 minutes of me lifting popcorn up and down. And he goes, yep, probably won't use those. And I was like, great, cool. That's that.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I don't know, well, that's a bit of information you just did not need after that.
Yeah, that's the end of it.
That's a real kicking while you're down kind of situation.
Yeah. I was doing you.
It's nothing to do with the popcorn. It's all to do with you. Yeah, I don't want you to be in.
100%. Just probably won't
use
those.
That's awful, man.
Great, cool.
Oh, that's terrible. Thanks for that. So yeah, I guess Whitstable Bay. It's, as Barber, you mentioned it. Refreshingly light pale ale, and yeah, I do get this refreshing nature from this pale ale. It is nothing but a summer beer in my eyes. You could drink it all year round, obviously. It's available all year round. It's not like it's a limited edition or a limited batch. This is a core staple from Whitstable Bay, aka Shepherd Neame. But
Rich, are you getting on?
Delicious.
Are you getting on with it? It's not very crafty.
Well, look, I know I love a craft beer and stuff. But yeah, Whitstable Bay is light. It is easy drinking. It's not going to blow me away and everything like that. But I'm not offended by it. If I was in Whitstable Bay, I would definitely drink a Whitstable Bay.
I'm actually, do you know the one that's really drawing my eye actually? Because I was having a bit of a look at it online. Is the Whitstable Bay Black Stout. With the stouts, there is that first word in it, which is Guinness. But I keep looking at it and I think, there's a picture of two people cheersing with a pint of the black stout, and you can see it it's at quite an angle, so it really should be pouring out, spilling over the glass, but it's just staying firmly well put where it is. So maybe not such a summer one, but I'm quite drawn to that.
It's a fun vibe, I think. You could probably, enjoy it and throw down a Whitstable Bay when you're on the coast in the south. You can probably get it all up and down the country, I'd imagine, with the presence that Shepherd Neame have. But it is very much a, southeast kind of stronghold. Let's put it that way.
I'm going to ask you guys, if you had almost like a scale of all the beers that we've looked at, what beer, say from the old school on one end to the really crafty at the other end, what beer is next to this on the spectrum, and what beer is at the opposite end? And the thing is, I was going to say, so for me, I wasn't going to say Spitfire being next to it because it's kind of a bit of a cheat because we just talked about it earlier on.
Well, I was going to say the same thing. This feels like a Spitfire, but that's probably just because it feels like a steam brewery, a Shepherd Neame beer, right?
I was thinking maybe, I'm thinking it's old school, but it's pale and golden. It could almost sit alongside some of the, oh God, how have I not remembered? What's the one near you, Joe? Why can't I remember?
Sussex based.
Yeah, just say the name of the brewery.
Harvey's.
I could see these sat next to Harvey's.
Yeah.
And then
similar lineage.
That's easy for you to say.
It's a similar lineage of Harvey's, for sure, yeah.
And then at the other end of the spectrum, what beer is this not? Tiny Rebel. It's like the polar opposite of Tiny Rebel.
Let's try and let's do apples to apples rather than pears to apples, and let's do absolutely Tiny Rebel's Pale Ale. What is that? That's the Club Tropica. This is nothing like a Club Tropica.
You know what? I would quite like to see the collab between Shepherd Neame and Tiny Rebel.
Tiny Shepherd.
Yeah?
Tiny Shepherd. Yes. Tiny Shepherd.
Oh man,
is...
I'm not even getting paid for this stuff. What's going on?
My inclination is that a family-owned historic brewery like Whitstable Bay and Shepherd Neame aren't really that into the whole collab scene. Unfortunately, they kind of do their thing. They know what their consumers want, and that's basically it.
I love that idea of the bloke from Tiny Rebel turning up at the Havisham Steam Brewery on his skateboard with his Kanye West
his e-scooter. On his e-scooter,
wearing Kanye West shutter sunglasses.
I can imagine most of the Tiny Rebel brewing staff vape some sort of cherry Bakewell smelling vape thing.
Yeah, totally.
And the owner of Faversham Steam Brewery walks out head to toe in tweed with his flat cap on and his Yorkshire Terrier by his foot. Say, what's all this then? No.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a match made in heaven.
Got one of these in his mouth as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah, exactly. That's a good pipe. That's a good pipe.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best way to describe this is Rich apparently isn't on the podcast anymore, but Sherlock Holmes is. There's a man with a handlebar mustache and just the biggest pipe you've ever seen. That sounds like a really weird euphemism.
I'm presuming you have a fancy dress party to go to this weekend.
No, you know what? I don't. This was part of my leaving present from work. So
you don't often see people smoking a pipe these days.
Well, why would they get you a smoking pipe?
So it came. Wait there.
Can I try it? And with that, he was gone, my dear Watson. He's back. Here he comes. And he's got to say,
okay, this makes more sense now. The whole regalia. This makes more sense.
It came with a captain's hat, a pipe, and a handheld compass.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is why, your affiliation with Seaman is now complete.
No, very good. That's actually a very good, a good giveaway present, leaving present. That's great.
You look the part.
I do now, yeah. So I'm going to wear this for the rest of the podcast.
So numbers-wise, on Whitstable Bay, they have 10k followers on Instagram.
Boom.
And on Twitter, they have 3k.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of the Whitstable Bay fans being big social media users, personally. I hope I'm not doing them an injustice.
No, but they're also part of the Shepherd Neame family, who own over 300 pubs, bars, restaurants, hotels, around the UK. These are quite a big group organisation. I mean, it's the oldest family-owned brewery,
1698.
It is currently owned. The CEO at the top of the table is a Jonathan Neame. So true to form, it's still very family orientated, family owned. Looking through their history, they've had historians from Faversham charting their history as a guy who's part of the Faversham Historian Society, who's written over 3 books about the brewery alone and their history. Which is, if you're really into your beer history and you like Faversham area,
that's the one for you.
Shepherd Neame is where you're going to be finding it well.
Is it just about the brewery and the beer, or is it about the beer and the surrounding area?
The history of it probably dives into each family, the family, how it all links together, and the local area and the community. It'll probably do a whole thing about cultural side, Rich. You might even touch into social, political, geopolitical as well. It probably sounds like you need to pick up these 3 books and let us know what the crypt notes are.
I do have some Audible credits that I've got to use up. So, you know what this guy's listening to on his way to work?
Bedtime reading, I think, Val.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe,
Rich,
Barber,
and Simo.
Goodbye. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com.
And watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.